Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy Sherry, and I'm a PhD student at Jönköping International Business School. I'm going to talk about my research paper that I will present at EGOS 2020, the 36th colloquium. The paper is titled Where It All Starts, the Emergence of Organizational Routines in New Ventures. I have to acknowledge the co-author of this paper, Norbert Steigenberger, who I want to thank for such a great collaboration. Before starting the presentation, I would also like to thank everyone at EGOS for organizing such a great colloquium. So let me tell you a bit about the phenomena, its significance, and the research gaps that we fill in this paper. So we explored the emergence process of organizational routines in the context of new ventures. As we all know, startups mostly fail in their very early stages before even making any profits. However, routines can be a key to their survival. Despite the significance that routines have for the entrepreneurship research, we know little about the emergence processes research. There are a few research gaps that we address in this paper. First, routine's emergence can be planned, which means intended or designed by specific actors in the firm, or it can be an effortless accomplishment. Second, routines might be triggered by different factors such as prior knowledge, experience, coincidental behavior, and many other factors that are a bit unclear when it comes to the context of new ventures. Routines in new ventures might emerge fast or slow. Some research shows that startups have it very difficult to create routines, and it takes a longer time since they don't have a "this is how we do it around here" way of working. While other research shows that, well, firms start creating routines since their first day of operating. Currently, it is also unclear which action patterns turn into routines. What is the point where they start stabilizing, and what is it that influences these action patterns to not disappear from the firm, but to continue being performed until they become routines? Therefore, the research question is that we are going to unearth the processes that lead some action patterns to become routines in the context of new ventures. I have to also highlight that this is a work in progress paper. Therefore, all the conclusions and the findings are preliminary. The method for this paper is a qualitative approach. We follow a longitudinal case study approach where we observe 4 startups that are based in Sweden. So all the startups are in different industries, and all the teams are consist of at least 5 members, where they have started to work together 2 to 3 weeks before we started collecting the data. All these teams, what is interesting is that they have not worked before together, so they don't know each other. So when we start, the research setting is great for us to capture the routines from the beginning. The data collection that we have done is through different sources. We attend offline and online meetings through different digital platforms, such as Messenger or Skype or Google Hangouts. And we also record and track online conversations, which they do through different platforms as well. And we have access to different documents and different files that they have in their working space. Also, what is I have to mention here that due to COVID-19, many changes happened, which made it very difficult for us to collect the data. So 2 of the startups delayed their processes and they haven't started working since then. And another one postponed the meetings, and that actually affected the empirical data, of course. Regarding the findings, which are as well preliminary, we found out that action patterns, in order for them to emerge, interactions are needed. So actors have to interact with each other, they have to exchange information, to communicate, and so on. The more frequent these interactions are, the easier it is for them to stabilize action patterns. Second is that routines can be intentional, which means that one actor in the firm, usually it was a founder or one other actor who was starting a routine because or in accordance to his or her own role and responsibilities. So they would design the routine and they would just want to start creating the routine for the firm. Another reason for them is that they were actually triggered by some external factors, such as COVID-19, which influenced these teams to start creating new ways of interactions, of communication, of working together. The third is that action patterns are very much dependent on the alignment or not of the individual and collective interpretations or understandings. So for action patterns to become routines, it is needed, there should be some alignment between what individuals know, think, and understand, and what is a joint understanding in the startup. And this can be seen, for example, when a project manager who did not understand very much what his or her own role and responsibility was, started creating a routine, and later on the routine just disappeared because the project manager would just stop performing it. Meanwhile, the whole team members would expect the project manager to perform and to keep acting on it. So where there is no alignment, we see that the action pattern does not become a routine. It is very important to talk here about the artifacts as well, which facilitate the interactions of the members, which means that the emergence of action patterns or even of routines is way easier when artifacts are there. They can even lead to a better understanding, both for individual understanding and collective. We see that in some startups, different members who have different backgrounds, they use specific artifacts in order to create a common understanding, which is amazing. And we see here in the first picture, there is a design that they did of the application that they were creating in order for everyone in the team to understand, even the non-designers. And this is something that they create all the time, and they use it frequently in all meetings and everything in order for everyone to understand what's going on in the team. Another finding in this paper is that the initiator, which is usually the founder, of the routine, has a significant role when it comes to the stabilization of action patterns. And this is because it is not just enough to initiate something, it is also important to be committed to that routine in order to influence the others to be that motivated that they will as well perform continuously and frequently this routine. Another thing that I have to mention, which is the last finding here, is that the managers and any actor who would start performing the routine has to follow up and push and influence the other actors as well. Regarding the contributions, well, we develop and advanced theory on the earliest stage of routine dynamics, because we see how actors interact, but also how routines lead to each other. We analyze the mechanisms that lead to the routine emergence, as you saw already, but we also have some practical implications for all practitioners who are dealing with entrepreneurship, especially entrepreneurs themselves, because they might get here some strategical points that will help them and enable them to better handle the work within the team, but also to understand how routines can be created and how beneficial they can be for the startup. This is a presentation from my side. I want to thank you all for watching, and if you need more information about this research study, feel free to contact us anytime. Here you have the contacts as well. Thank you.